Tia Claire Toomey has retired. Laura Horvath messes it up. She will never win again. And everybody else in the women's division.
She's not retiring.
What?
I said she isn't retiring. Hey, you like my shirt? I borrowed it from Kale Lehman.
All right, you know what? You're done for a little bit. Actually, he's not wrong this time. Tia's body language indicates that she's unsure of whether or not she's going to retire. You notice she uses ambiguous terms like end of a chapter.
To say goodbye to this chapter.
That will allow her the freedom to either retire or not retire, depending on how she does it Torian. It's human psychology 101. All right, that's pretty convincing. Look, she's lost a lot of weight and probably some muscle, it looks like, based on her open scores and her appearance. And she's right at that age where she's been talking about retirement for a long time. She has a family. Here's the thing. She's uber competitive. We all know it. And if she can hold a High Rocks title and a CrossFit title at the same time, there's no way that she's not going to give it a shot. Now, what does that mean? Well, I think if she dominates at semifinals, we will probably see her in the games. Now, if she goes out there with less muscle mass, having trained for High Rocks, and she doesn't do very well, she takes second, third, she's sluggish, I think there's a chance she says, yeah, you know what, I'm done. But there's no way she dominates at Torian and makes the games and doesn't go back there for one more title, especially if she wants to hold the High Rocks title at the same time, because that is another level for her, and that is the way to go out. And she's a champion. She's the best that there ever has been. There probably won't be anyone like her again, but that's how she's going to go out, if she's got that opportunity. I don't know if she will or not. She wasn't in that kind of shape during the Open, but then again, it's the Open, so we'll see what happens.
Oh, you know what you should do? Do the buy and sell format again. They love that.
Oh, all right. You guys like the buying and selling? Yeah, we could do that again.
Bunch of internet trolls in mommy's basement who've never got their first bar muscle up. I say we nuke them.
So let's do another round of buying and selling. See if I can get it right this time.
This guy here in your last video, he said, stick to memes.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. All right, so Tia retiring. I'm selling it. Mainly because logically, she has no idea if she's retiring yet or not. So it's a sell because she's not retiring. She doesn't know yet. But also, I'm going to say she does the games. She's going to win the High Rocks doubles. She's going to win the games. And she is going to go out the undisputed champ on top. The best ever. Better than Frazier. Better than Froning. That's the way you write the ending to your story. All right, what's next?
Everybody else and then Laura.
Ah, yes. Everybody else and then Laura. Well, I kind of ruined it already because the whole thing is, who's the next Tia going to be? And the answer is there's not going to be a next Tia. But who's next in line to win the CrossFit Games and potentially win it multiple times? Who's somebody who could take over and really see some dominance in the sport? Okay, I don't want to spend a ton of time on this because I covered these two women in my last video on Mayhem and Kale Lehman. The first one up is Alexis Raptis. And for a long time, a lot of us have expected her to be thrust into that elite status and to see her start winning, and she just hasn't. She's had some health issues, but it's not just that. It's her body language. She just seems to lack that killer instinct. And that is something that you absolutely have to have. She's not the next Tia. She's not the next closest thing to Tia. I'm selling the idea that she's next up. Haley Adams, she stepped away for mental issues she had going on, and she's come back, and it's been really great to see her come back and step into the sport, unlike, say, Mal O'Brien. But she had problems with lifting heavy weight when her weight was really low, her body weight. And she's added some body weight, which is great. And she looks better lifting heavy weight, but it seems to have affected her in other areas. So I think her ceiling is limited. And despite being so young, I've got to sell Haley Adams being the next woman up. Emily Rolfe, it's honestly just an age issue. I have to sell here. She's definitely a threat to play spoiler. She looks really good. She looked really good at the games last year, but selling on that one. Here's one that's going to surprise you. Emma Lawson, and I'm going to say it at the beginning. Buy. I am buying that she could be the next up after Tia. Here's the thing. Yeah, she had some mental struggles, and the spotlight has seemed to get to her a little bit, but she switched to Brute. And Brute has a really good track record. They've got some really good athletes who are working under them, who've had success, and they all seem to be in a good place. And I'd like to see a comeback, and I think a comeback's possible. Why? Because she's 20 years old. She has all the talent in the world. This is somebody who took second in the CrossFit Games at age 18? In fact, she's one of the only ones on the list that still has the potential to possibly become Tia, actually, to be that dominant. Will she? No, I don't think so. I don't think she has the mental edge that Tia has, but how do you come about that mental edge? Is it something that you develop over time and something that can be gained and strengthened as you overcome adversity? She's got the talent to be the next Tia. We've got to see what happens at Brute. We've got to see where she's at mentally and how she develops. But if all those things happen to go right, she's definitely somebody with the potential to be next up. Lucy Campbell. Bye. She's 29 years old, so she's still in her prime. We saw her take, I think, 15th at the games maybe before she got injured. She's been out for it was the 2023 season, so she's been out for 2 years. Then she comes back and wins Wodapalooza and beats Laura. Lucy Campbell is absolutely a threat. Alex Kazan, meh. She's only 23. I thought that she really could be thrust into this position of being somebody who could win the games. Her cardio seems to hold her back. We all know she's really strong. I'm going to sell the fact right now that she's next up. Fisa Gaffi, I like this. She's getting really good, but she's got some limitations. I definitely can see her in a podium spot, but I don't see her in contention to win the games on multiple occasions. I'm going to sell on Fee. Abby Dommett looked great at Mayhem, winning that. She showed the ability to win. She's got that killer instinct. She's only 27. We'll call it recency bias, but I'm saying yes and buying Abby Dommett as potentially the next up after Tia. In the last two, it's fitting that we're going to talk about Gabby Magala and Laura Horvath. Gabby, absolutely buying the fact that she could be next up. She's only 25, and you see her games finishes, and they're 6th, 8th, 4th, 2nd, and she's only been getting better, and she was right in it at Rogue with Horvath and with Tia before she unfortunately got injured. So she's out for this year, but when she comes back next year, I absolutely expect her to be somebody that we could see winning the CrossFit Games. And frankly, I could see her winning the CrossFit Games multiple times. If I'm putting my money on anyone, it's Gabby. And finally, Laura Horvath. Laura Horvath is 29, I think. I think going to the WFP is going to cause people that didn't participate in the CrossFit Games season to lose some fitness ability. Here's the thing. Am I biased? Sure. I like the CrossFit Games, and I don't like the way that the WFP has gone about certain things.
You sit on a throne of lies.
However, when you hear people talk about the WFP, when you hear them talk about themselves and how the style of the competition will be set up not to beat you up too much, how the athletes have talked about what they're prioritizing, whether it's reading between the lines or whether it's Danielle Brandon flat out saying that she's peaking for the games, not for the WFP. So can she keep that hunger when she's not competing for the fittest on earth? Because I don't buy for 1 second that the people who have boycotted CrossFit or left CrossFit, the game season that is, in order to go to the WFP or whatnot, I don't buy for 1 second that they don't still see this as the Crown Royale, that they don't still see this as the fittest on earth. Everybody knows that this is the Super Bowl, that this is the World Series, and it's what matters. And I think it'd be really hard to be able to assess your fitness and stay at the same level while competing at people in the WFP when you know that they're not peaking, when you know that it's not as important.
Give me a call when you want to start taking things a little more seriously.
And mentally, it's the fact alone that she left the CrossFit Games for the WFP, the guaranteed money. She has a big Adidas contract. Those kind of decisions are the kind of decisions that make me think that Laura will not ever win the CrossFit Games again. Gabby will, Laura will not. Tia didn't just do it for the money, she did it for the hunger. When she took second twice, she ferociously came back after first, and then she defended it. And she didn't just defend it to scrape by, she defended it to crush people on the way.
This is Sparta!
Laura's got money. Laura's got the WFP. She hasn't made a lot of American fans either with her comments at Rogue and some other things along the way. There might be something lost in translation with the cultural differences and the accent and things like that, but it's kind of hard to get this one wrong.
This is what Europe feels like, so the CrossFit community in the States should watch this because we are coming.
She just seems sort of salty in the cryptic messages that she posts sometimes. It's just all that stuff with leaving and going to the WFP and not being concerned with the fittest on earth and having a year off from the best competition. It all makes me think she's not going to win again. Will she come back? Maybe. But Gabby's going to beat her. Sell.
You know that none of this matters, right? She didn't even say she was retiring. All this is just gossip and speculation.
Yeah, I know, but as Hiller would say, or I guess as Jada Coons would say.
Oh, well,